the U.S. Congress, the House chamber, is actually sanctioning the International Criminal Court. Why? Because, as you know, a couple weeks ago, the ICC started to pursue arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, two leaders of Israel, Netanyahu, of course, being the prime minister. When the prosecutor filed a request for arrest warrants, it was in response to Israel's prosecution of a genocidal war in Palestine, in Gaza. Most of the world applauded, but not the U.S. Congress, and specifically not the Republicans in Congress. The Democrats at least had the decency to be silent cowards. The Republicans stood up and said, you know what? We are going to go after you, ICC. And they said it before. They said it months ago. I just didn't think they'd really follow through. I was like, I mean, come on. You're going to actually sanction the sanctioners? You're going to actually go after the International Criminal Court because they had the audacity, they had the temerity, they had the unmitigated gall to actually hold Israel accountable for its genocidal acts in Gaza. And just to be clear, the ICC also went after Hamas. They went after several leaders of Hamas for war crimes. And that's what the ICC investigates, war crimes. And they found some against Israel as well. So on Tuesday, in a vote 247 to 155, the House of Representatives denounced the court's announcement last month that held Israeli leaders, along with Hamas leaders, as I said, responsible for war crimes in Gaza. Now the measure will move to the Senate. Now, I don't know if Democrats will support this. You would need a lot of Democratic support for this to go through. It's not likely to pass through the Senate, they say, but this is an election year. It would not surprise me if Democrats were to throw away all of their principles, the little bit that they have. If they were to kowtow to political pressure, if they were to try to play to the center, they already got the American public's, kind of sense of this thing. But they know that if they go after the ICC, it doesn't cost them anything in the electoral arena, but it wins them some support from centrists. It wins them some support from Republicans. It wins them some support from Jewish voters. It wins them some support from voters who don't know what to do when they're deciding between Biden and Trump. The Congress continues to embarrass us. Now, the White House, for its credit, says that this is not something that we should be up to. The White House says that this is overreach. Let's be clear. The White House is not saying that the ICC is correct. In fact, Biden has gone after the ICC too. Biden has criticized the ICC. Biden and the White House are simply saying it's technically an overreach. That's not what they should be doing. It's also not the only thing Congress is doing to embarrass us on this matter. Congress, as you know, already invited Netanyahu to address them in a joint meeting of Congress this summer. And all that's going to do is further inflame things. It's going to make Republicans look like they're being reasonable. Democrats aren't going to show up. They're going to be called anti-Semitic, and they're going to say that they're boycotting the speech because of Netanyahu's extremism. And the problem with that is that it continues to frame the problem not as a fundamental problem of how Israeli society is organized, but as a specific problem around the Netanyahu government, as if Netanyahu is an outlier and not part of a fundamental issue with an apartheid state. So it's all messy. It's all crazy. And this decision to go after the ICC, to grandstand, and that's all you're doing, is even messier and even crazier. What does it mean to sanction the ICC? It means that not only do they get this kind of verbal rebuke, but there are people in the Republican House that are saying anybody who's connected to the ICC, anybody connected to this decision, including Prosecutor Khan, won't be allowed into the United States. They won't be allowed to travel freely. They're going after them the way we should be going after the Israeli war criminals. But that'd be too much like right.